Hi, this is Dan from Tech Digest and Shiny, and I'm here today with the Nikon D5000 DSLR. Now, the D5000 is Nikon's first real family SLR camera, really aimed at that market for everyone to appreciate at once. Now, having said that, a lot of the insides of this are very, very similar to the D90. You've got the same 12.3 megapixel camera, you've got the X-Speed processor, and yes, it does shoot HD footage at 720p. But what you'll notice about this one, it's a hell of a lot smaller and lighter. It's only 560 grams with the body, really feels nice and snug and small in your hand, and if you gave this to your kids to run around with, should you trust them with a 629 pound piece of kit, then they're probably not going to drop it out of weight. What is different about this one to the D90 is you've got a 2.7 inch LCD screen at the back. Now, it's a bit smaller than the one on the D90, but it does flip out and rotate as you will. So you can shoot round corners if you need to, or up, and you can still see exactly what it is you're supposed to be looking at on the screen. Another nice function about that as well is that yes, you can have it straight like that if you want, but because you can turn it over and protect the screen, it means you don't have to have one of those ugly plastic lumps protecting the back all the time, which kind of impairs your view of the screen, which I never really liked about this camera. It's always been a bit annoying. What you might notice as well about this is there's no top display, which is a little bit different from these sort of more expensive Nikons. Now, to begin with, that was a little bit funny, but actually, you kind of get into it, you realise it's not such a problem. One of the reasons is because they've got this graphic display quite nicely sorted. Now, there's two ways you can do it. You've got it on the back at the moment, the classic display, where you've got the shutter speed, and you've got the f-stops there, and you've got your ISO nicely in there. But there's also the graphic way of doing it as well. Now, you notice you can see the settings change there as you're moving the dial to represent the top. But what I like most of all is that you can actually, when you're changing the shutter speed, as you are there, you can actually watch it going round there graphically on the top. But perhaps better is you can change the aperture and actually see that move too, which is a really, really good thing. If you're considering this as a family camera, it's a really good way for people to learn about photography, because they're going to appreciate what these physical changes actually do to your camera. So the interface is excellent. So what they've obviously added, as well as your PSAM modes and your auto, is you've got a bunch of scene shots as well, which you'd expect from perhaps a compact camera that, say, someone who's more into, less into their photography, and you're trying to persuade them to buy this kind of SLR, that's the kind of thing they'll appreciate. So for the scene modes, you've got 19 scenes, changing all sorts from like silhouettes and food and parties and all the kinds of things you'd expect in a compact camera as well. It does also have a live view mode too, which is obviously very useful for when you're doing your HD video. That's how you're recording that. And it's quite good because the autofocus works really well on this as well when you are shooting HD video, so you're not having to muck around with the collar too much. That's really quite important. The problems about the HD, I suppose, are still the same ones you've got with the D90. You've got your speaker at the back there for playing back, but you've got your microphone there, but it is only a mono mic as well. Now, I've shot a video on this, which I'll attach at the bottom of the review. I've done the Nokia N97 on this, and you can appreciate the quality of the footage is really good. Perhaps the sound, that's what you're getting out of a mono recording, so do pay attention to that. Ports-wise, you're looking at your HDMI as well there. You've got sort of that, it's not quite USB, it's that semi-proprietary nonsense on the side as well, which is always a bit frustrating. Recording is done on SD card down there, and everything else about it is pretty much normal, with your lens release there and the flash on top as well there, if it ever wants to, there we go, pop up like that. It does come with the kit lens here, the 18 to 55mm. Slightly frustrating, not as good as the one you get on the D90, which goes up to 110mm. Really all you're getting here is a kind of a standard to pretty wide lens, so there's no real zoom functionality to talk of. Personally, I'd advise buying the body on its own, perhaps picking up some second-hand lenses, unless you really don't have any lenses to play with in the meantime. All in all though, I've been really impressed with this. You're getting really good shots out of this, just as good as you would with the D90, perhaps not quite, very similar to the D300 as well. You don't quite have that same level of control over it, but you do have that universal appeal. So if you're trying to persuade someone in your family to get a one camera for the family, I really would recommend this. I think it's a lot of fun. I certainly have, as an enthusiast, I certainly haven't been disappointed with the kind of results I'm getting out of it. So there you go, the Nikon D5000, it's out now, and not a bad price as well, considering it's one for all the family.